Hi everybody, welcome back to Small Caliber Arms Review. It's time to make another holster. Yes, I enjoy making holsters. Anyways, this one is going to be for a Remington 1858 or the new model Army, but this one is a conversion. It has both the ramrod on the bottom of it. It also has an ejector rod and a loading gate, but this one's not spring loaded, which is kind of a pain. But it's a conversion. I get to shoot 45 Colt ammo in this thing and not black powder stuff. But anyways, I'm going to make a cross draw holster with some fringe on it. I kind of like doing that stuff, and I'm going to make this one match the fringed jacket I made, and I think it's going to look pretty cool. I hope it does anyways. Let's get busy on it. Okay, if you've seen the last two holster videos I made, this one was for the 1851 Navy. This one is for 1872 open top, and I'm going to make it with fringe on it like this in the exact same color, same suede I used on the jacket, but I'm going to do the fringe more like the tassels are on this one. I'm going to have it all the way down and coming out of there, and it's going to be a cross draw. This one is a cross draw. It holds it at an angle on your belt. If you're right-handed, you wear it kind of on the left front side, almost like a left appendix carry. This one is just a right side one and just hangs on the belt. It's going to be similar. I don't think I'm going to put any of the beads on there. Those are a pain. They really take a long time to do. They look good. I just don't think I'm going to do it, but I am going to put the fringe along this one edge here so that when it hangs similar to these, straight down there, and it is going to be a cross draw. Now, I have not made a holster for a new model Army, and like I said, this is the conversion. I also have two other black powder ones. I have a stainless one and I have a regular blued one. This is probably the right size holster, except the length is wrong. It's got a toe plug in it, so that's where it goes. And then with this one for the 1851, it won't go all the way in there because, like I said, this one has an ejector rod on it where the 1851 does not, and this just doesn't have the volume in here to hold that ejector rod in there. So I've got to make a new pattern for this one, and I don't know, maybe you've seen some of my videos and where I've made the patterns, and if you don't want to watch it, just go ahead and skip along. And for those of you who have not seen the pattern making process, this is kind of how I do it. I'm going to establish a center line first, and then I'm going to take and measure out everything for the gun. So I like to put it right on that center line and then just kind of roll it over there, keeping it straight, as straight as I can anyways. And then I'll take my pen and kind of trace around the gun a little bit, and I want it to be bigger than the gun, so I'm not trying to get exact profile of it. That gives me an idea, lets me know where everything is on here. And it's not exact, okay? It's going to be somewhat sloppy. So I got my hammer, my trigger guard, inside of my trigger guard there. And this one, it does have a little more volume. This ejector rod on here is fairly small. It's not like the ones on the 1873s and 72s where it's got the spring-loaded piece in there. So it really doesn't take up a whole lot more volume in here, but it will take up a little bit more. So there is the basic outline of my gun, and I'm going to kind of sketch in there. So this is going to be the outline part of it, and I want my, let's see, I want my holster to curve up here, and this will cover the cylinder part of it. And then on the single actions, I always do the kind of exposed trigger there. And it's up to you what you want to do on this end here. I kind of like doing a little shark's tooth looking piece there. And this is just a sketch. This will probably not be the only time I'll draw this out. I mean, it'd be nice if I could, but it doesn't always work that way. This will be almost like a Slim Jim holster. It's going to be really long. And I'm probably not going to put a toe plug on this one. Although I do like the looks of toe plugs, I'm probably not going to do it on here. So that is pretty much how it's going to look. Maybe make this a little wider there. Something like that. And I'm going to have to do the piece on the back here so that folds over and makes the loop on there. Now with it being a cross draw, it needs to be angled something like that. So this we'll bring this up here. And I want to make it big enough for, I'm going to make a belt for this one, so I'll probably make it big enough for a 2-inch belt. And then I'll narrow it down to 1.5 inches because I'm probably going to use, I've got a brass buckle here that I have not used yet. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use that one on the belt. All right, I'm going to get to sketching both halves out and all that kind of stuff, and we'll go from there. This is actually the back side of the holster. Like I said, it's a right-hand cross draw. So this will be the front side of the holster, and I got to get this transferred over to there so we can see it. Okay, so that's the back side, that's the front side right there, and it looks to me like it's probably going to be too small for it. Yep, so we're going to have to go a little bit bigger than this, which is fine. I'm used to doing that. I do it all the time. So I've got another piece of paper here. Get a new center line marked on there. And I think I'm going to make it about, oh, let's say 1/2 inch wider. So what I'll do is I will go on here and mark 1/4 inch on each side of my center line. So I'm marking this, I'm moving it over 1/4 inch this way, then I'll move it over 1/4 inch this way, and it'll make it 1/2 inch wider. So line these up and trace out this half of it. Now I'll slide it over to this one and then trace out the other half. And we'll get this one cut out. Okay, so I got the new one cut out, and let's see how it does. Again, this folds over this way, and I'm still not exactly sure. I can change it. I can change the angle a little bit. I can change it a lot. I'm gonna put it right about there, I think. And I will put me just a little dotted line along here so I know about where I want to put it, because I'll have to transfer my stitch marks over there. Now, one of the things you'll notice I did on the other one, on this one right here, which I normally do not do, is this stitch line across here is actually kind of a bad thing to do because it's perforated there. And I am going to do 2 layers on this. I'm going to do a liner and a outside main body of it. But when I stitch this across here, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stitch like a U-shaped piece here because, yes, it's perforated, but I've got so much more area there for contact, less chance of it tearing out, where here I've got a smaller distance. Of course, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, so this gives me a longer distance, which gives me more points between those stitches to hold together to the body of the holster there. Not that this is going to be real weak. It's going to be extremely strong, I can tell you that. It's just on here, I'm probably only going to stitch a U-shaped piece right there. I will have this stitched together because I want to hold those 2 layers together along with the glue. But for holding this loop on the back of there, I'm only going to do a little C shape on there, U shape. So I've got that there, and we'll get this thing folded in half. Now we'll see how it fits the new model army. That is going to be quite a bit better there. And I will cut out a welt to go in there. Probably only carry it about, 3/4 of the way down. And what I can do for my welt is if I find there's my original one I cut out. So this was where I traced the outline of the firearm. So what I'll do is, it's going to make it harder to see that, but this is going to be my pattern for my welt. I need to go a little bit smaller because that was quite a distance away from the actual firearm. And we'll take it to about there, and then I'll skive from here this way, thin that out so it tapers gently down in there. But this I want to be real thick. So the first pattern is not a complete waste. I do get another part out of it. No toe plug, so it's just going to be this and the welt. I think that'll work out all right. I'm going to get some leather cut out, and then we'll get a holster put together. Okay, my dye is all done. You can see some nice natural scars or stretch marks or whatever in the hide, and I'm okay with that. I want it to look a little bit older. This is going to be the inside of it, so I'm not too worried about that. But now I got to get these things glued up and get them stuck together. All right, all the holes are punched now except for the ones for here, but I'm going to go ahead and sew all the way up to a certain point there and then all the way across to here, and I'm going to sew this on the bottom here. This will get done when I fold it in half after I do the loop part of it. So it's time to get stitching. Gives me about 3 3/4 inches for a little while. Come in here, grab another piece of leather. Making videos because that's a lot of work doing the video and the leather at the same time. Okay, I finally got this whole thing stitched up, and that was a bear because I did not get everything. Even though I used the blowgun darts to line up the holes, I did not get them perfectly aligned. But with a little work of my broken stitching awl, the bit just pulls right out of the handle. I was able to get it cut up, I guess, done right anyways. Okay, there it is. The fringe is all cut. I had to touch up the welt, the dye on there a little bit, and it's going to hang, you know, it's going to be a cross draw, so hopefully it'll hang right. And now I got to get this thing wet molded because there's no way this is going in there like that. So this is going to get wrapped in plastic. This is going to get soaked in water, and this is going to get forced in there, and we'll go from there. Okay, I soaked it down inside and out. The fringe is all wet and everything, and we're just going to let it sit right here and dry in the plastic bags, and hopefully everything comes out all right. All right, guys, there it is. That is the 1858 Remington New Model Army. There's my pattern I made. I'm going to go ahead and keep that because this worked out really well. It's all nice and dried and everything. It fits in there really nice. Almost zero retention. Pretty close to zero anyways. And it's not a bad looking holster, I don't think. And it's going to go good with the jacket. All right, so here's the fringed jacket. And here's the fringed holster. I have not made a belt for it yet. Don't know if I'm going to. I might. I'm not going to put any fringe on the belt. That just can't happen. But I think it turned out pretty good. It's the same fringe, exact same suede I used on the jacket. So wearing a belt with it, I don't know. I could wear it on the outside of the jacket. I could wear it underneath the jacket. But it's a little hard to get to. You got to unbutton it to get to it. But there it is anyways. I think it turned out pretty good. Anyways, thanks for watching Small Caliber Arms Review. If you could, hit this button up here to check out some of my other videos, and hit this button down here to subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching.